quadruped hamstring liftoff. So in the quadruped position, we're on our hands and knees. And when I'm on my hands and knees, I'm gonna have my hips flexed and my knees flexed as well. So the hamstring muscle, it's a 2-joint muscle, crosses my hip joint, crosses my knee joint. So if my hip is flexed and then I'm working on doing a hover or a hamstring contraction, I'm essentially having the muscle lengthened and shortened in one spot, if that makes sense. So as I go into a hip flexion, that's lengthening the hamstring, and if I go into knee flexion, it's shortening down at my knee. So the focus of this movement is gonna be at the actual knee joint in itself. So I have a yoga block set up here because we can use the yoga block to progress some of the liftoffs. So if I go to that quadruped position, I wanna have my hands under my shoulders, my knees under my hips, and I wanna kinda go through a cat and a cow to find like a neutral spine position. And I wanna fill my belly full of air. I like to think about pushing my hands into the ground to create tension, and then I'm just simply pulling my heel toward my butt to get that hamstring to contract and then come back down. Sometimes we'll do these with tibial rotation. So if I rotate my toe out and then I lift up, come back down, and I rotate my toe in and lift up and come back down, that'll just change the sensation that you get because the hamstring muscles will attach on different sides of the lower leg bone as they cross the knee. So if I rotate in and do a hamstring curl, that's gonna get the inside of my knee. If I rotate out and do a hamstring curl, it's gonna get the hamstrings on the backside of my knee. And then I can use this yoga block to increase the difficulty of the lift off. So if I put that like so, and I go through my setup to find neutral, and I'm taking a big breath in and I'm pulling my heel to my butt, I gotta really focus on contracting that hamstring to get it off that block without having any sort of compensation. Now, if you find yourself starting to cramp up, the intensity is probably too high. Maybe you cramp up if you hold it too long. So ways you can scale the intensity is don't lift your foot up as high, don't squeeze the contraction as hard, don't hold the contraction as long, or don't add any of those rotations. So typically we'll start with just a normal liftoff. As your technique improves and ways to progress, you can increase the contraction time, increase the contraction intensity, increase how high you're bringing the foot off the ground. And then if you're adding the tibial rotation to it as well, that'll also result in more muscles being recruited.